Good afternoon. Welcome to another Hidden Gem Sports Scouting live stream one-on-one interview. We're here with a new client, Joe Zanca from DePaul University. Joe, how you doing this afternoon?
Great, great. Feeling good. How about yourself?
I can't complain too much at all, man. Just trying to stay busy and be productive today.
hmm
I appreciate you taking time out. I know we were supposed to connect yesterday, but I do appreciate you giving me a second chance here to get
hmm
on here and knock this thing out with you. And hopefully, we won't take a lot of your time today. What's been going on over the last week for you?
Nothing much. Just been, staying patient, staying hungry. Just training hard, working a little bit of security, getting some money on the side. But other than that, just been staying ready to play and getting stronger and faster. That's been it for this past week.
No, for those out there watching, Joe is a defensive lineman. He plays nose tackle, defensive tackle. I believe you said you played some defensive end as well.
Yes, sir.
Joe comes from DePaul University. He's already had some experience with the professional indoor leagues in America, specifically the Indoor Football League. Talk to us a little bit, real quick, about your recent experience with that. What's that been like going from outdoor to a 60-yard field, no sidelines, faster game, much more, a lot faster tempo. What's that been like adjusting for you from a defensive lineman standpoint?
Right. So I think the biggest thing was just the speed of the game. In terms of pass rush, you might have 3, maybe 4 seconds, but in the IFL, you got about 2 seconds. So you got to make your first move, and you got to make it quick. The space of the field is definitely different as well. I mean, you're running around, and you're finding that guys are a lot closer to you. The wide receivers are a lot closer to you, and everything is much more in your face. I also found out that I was in great condition. I was really kind of before I went to the camps and got ready for the season. I was conditioning like I was getting ready for like the outdoor game. But that smaller space, you really are running a lot less, and things are just happening a lot quicker. So I had to I had to really get used to the speed at first, and I think after the first couple practices, I was finally with it because it's just you're not getting a whole lot of time to make those pass rush moves. You got to be decisive quick. And on a run play, you either going to try and reach you every single time, and the guys aren't really coming out at you, so you got to get flat down the line. You got to get penetration much quicker than what you'd have in the outdoor game. You might have time to read it a little bit. No, you just got to go straight, especially at the nose guard position. So, but
Yeah.
a lot faster for sure. Yeah.
Like you said, with them, trying to reach you most of the time,
Mm,
you're obviously having to get out of your stance quicker and get across their face before they get you.
mm,
Um, I've had a lot of guys that, have gone the indoor route, talk about the adjustment with the game, especially like, say, for instance, receivers, you
mm.
know, a typical slant route is a three-step slant. And
Right.
that's three steps and a 45-degree cut. Well, in the indoor game, it's one step and cut.
Mm-hmm.
A post route is typically 10 to 12, 45-degree angle to the goalpost. Well,
Mm,
indoor game, it's more of 8 to 10 and more of a 30 to 35-degree post. It's more like a skinny post. And
right.
so
Exactly.
there's a lot of different adjustments that go on with the indoor game, and it forces players at every position to really have to think faster,
Mm-hmm.
react even faster than that, and move 10 times faster.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like a QB that, maybe doesn't make decisions very quickly and is used to kind of holding the ball a little bit. It forces them to get that ball out faster, to look, read, and make decisions quicker. You
Right.
know, the same thing. Like I've been a linebacker coach most of my career, coaching wise, and for linebackers, it's the same way. You really have to get in a good stance, get your read step,
Mm-hmm.
read and make a diagnosis very, very quickly, and react even faster than that.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's good in a lot of ways, development wise for guys. And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, So, you know, you've obviously already had some time in the IFL this year. What are you looking to do now? As far as, are you looking to get back to the IFL? Are you looking to get outdoors, maybe overseas? What is your goal between now and say the recently announced showcase events and stuff for the XFL? Are you
That's
focused on XFL at some point and trying
mhm.
to stay on the field now? Are you looking to just train and then prepare for the bigger things? Talk to us a little bit about your plan and your kind of your outline right now.
Right now. I really would like to get back playing on the field. I would like to get a little bit more game film. Right now, I have really just one solid game to use for film, and I would like at least a couple more games to have that. But my goal is right now, short term, is to get back to the indoor, get playing before the season's over. But if not that, then I want to start training for those XFL camps and get to those and try and show out and put up a good camp and get some looks and get some contacts there. Right now, I'm still in the process of getting my passport, so I openly welcome any outdoor opportunities overseas coming up, but I just need to get my passport, get all that squared away, and I can do that. But all those opportunities are very welcome. I want to get some good film. I want to be able to showcase the type of player that I am, and how I can be effective on the field and my immediate impact on the field. And obviously, the long term goal is to next spring season, if the USFL is going, get there, or the XFL get there as well, and then work my way up to the CFL and NFL. Those are my big lofty goals right now. So I'm taking it day by day, trying to win every day, one step at a time, get 1% better.
There's some proposed rule changes for the CFL
Mm-hmm.
that could potentially open up where they can tend to bring in more linemen from
Sure.
America and other places versus the typical, Canadian ratio rule where they have to, they get most of their big men now locally
Mm-hmm.
there in Canada. They typically pull skill players from America. And so there are some rule changes that I've been, made aware of that could potentially come down the pipe. Not saying they are, but there's a potential for those to come down the pipe and actually get approved, and that could affect O line and D line getting those chances
Mm-hmm.
to get up to Canada a little bit more. If that were the case, I mean, what's your thought process on that? Does that excite you with another potential opportunity? Are you not
Mm-hmm.
really overly interested in Canadian ball? Like, talk to me a little bit about your thought process on that.
Oh, that gets me very excited. I had no idea that was even in the works. I would really love to play in the CFL because it is a pass heavy game, and I personally think I have a great pass rush. I think I could really bring some electricity to that game. I think I would really bring the pressure, and I would love to pursue opportunities in Canada as well. More avenues are opening up for the big men. So yeah.
I had a chance to talk with a couple of the in the CFL, and I
Mm.
was kind of made aware of that. Uh, Michigan signed with Ottawa.
I think it frees up a little bit there. What did you say on that last one? We're frozen there.
Okay.
All right,
You there, Joe?
there we go.
Joe, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep, I hear you.
I
Can you
can't.
see me?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties here. I apologize. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
All right.
See
Hey,
me?
can you say something?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear what I'm saying? No, am I muted? Can you hear me now?
Now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
there we go. Yeah.
All right. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. We had a little technical difficulty there. We'll um internet connection and different things freezing up, so I apologize. But anyway, as I was stating earlier, I spoke with a couple of CFL general managers, and that was something they made me aware of was that that rule change that could potentially open up the door for linemen to get up to Canada a little more easily. So, I was just curious, what your thought process was on that, but we'll kind of move on now. Talk to me about what it was like and your experience with the IFL initially. You stand what about 6 foot 270, 275 range.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, Technically, at some of the higher professional levels, you would be considered undersized based on your height, obviously.
Sure. Sure.
Um, what was that like? Did coaches initially kind of give you some kickback, I guess, or kind of dismiss your ability to play at a higher professional level based on your size, or did you not really find that to be a problem? Or
You know, I never really found the coaches were never like, oh, like, hey, you're pretty small. We don't think you're going to be able to perform here. Um, I think because I've been listed as an undersized lineman pretty much all my life, and I would not have been given the opportunities that I've gotten if the coaches knew that I wouldn't be effective on the field. I did at Quad Cities have them tell them like, your height is a little bit of a concern, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna be the guy, lifting a hand up at 6'4", 6'3", and batting down the ball. I'm the guy that's gonna get under the really tall centers and guards or tackles, whatever you consider them in the indoor game, and be getting under them. I'm going to be applying pressure. I'm going to be getting up in their chest. I'm going to be shoving them back. I'm going to be putting on finesse moves. I'm going to be on power moves. I'm going to be getting past the guys, and I'm going to be controlling the run game up front. I just I use kind of my height as an advantage sometimes because I'm going to get under these guys. They're all really tall. They're all really big. And, if I'm the low man, I'm going to win those battles. Um, I think, and it may have something to do with it, where guys are going to, I'm sure people have overlooked me, not even saying like, oh, you're too small. I'm sure I've been overlooked because of my height, just statistics wise. They look at my height, they look at my weight, and they're going to be like, well, hey, we're going to take our chances with, a guy who's 6'3", 300, which is understandable. It's gonna be a lot easier to explain to your boss why the 6'3", 300 guy didn't work out as opposed to the 6', 275 guy. So I play with that chip on my shoulder a lot. It's made me tend to be more violent football player on the field because I'm pissed off. I'm a little bit angry. A lot of guys look at me and they're like, oh, fucking small guy. I remember called fun size on the field. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna hit you now. I'm gonna get after you. I've never really let the size differential bother me. I always pride myself on being I fear no man on the field. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how strong you are. I'm gonna come after you. I'm gonna give you my full force, and that's just the truth of it.
I saw that on your film the first time I watched your film. You can tell that you play with a chip on your shoulder, and you really do play with a high motor, a lot of a high energy level. You get after it, obviously. Um, so that's apparent, through your film. That your film tells that story, and so. Um, but let's take a step back here. Let's kind of talk about your college journey and what led you up to the point you're at now. So kind of give us a little bit of a rundown. Tell everybody that's watching where you played high school ball, where you're originally from, how old you are now. We've already talked about obviously your height, weight, uh, and then carry us through your college journey. Tell us how you ended up at DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
What was your recruiting situation like at the time? Offers that you might have had. Just kind of give us a little backstory on you.
Absolutely. So, I'm a native of Chicago, North Side. I was born in the North Park neighborhood of Chicago. Lived around the North Side my entire life. I went to Notre Dame College Preparatory for young men on the northwest side. It's just outside Chicago in a suburb called Niles. That's where I played my high school ball at. And so, come my senior year, I was trying to decide where to go. I had a verbal offer from Valpo. I had an offer from this D2 school out east called St. Anselm, and then a lot of D3 interests, all across the nation. And so I was really considering places like North Central. They've been back to back, to the championship multiple times. UW Oshkosh, they've been a really solid team. But when it came down to it, I was thinking about, these are really, really good football programs. But the one offer that I got, which was probably the best school I got into academically and in terms of connections outside of it, was DePaul. And so pretty late in March, I committed to them. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go with you guys simply because, look, I wasn't thinking ahead. I was just thinking I'm going to get my education. I'm going to play really good football. I wasn't considering I really want to go and play pro ball after. I want to get my education first. And I want to go to a really good school with solid opportunities after. And, going through college, I really, really was just getting better and better and better every year. My freshman year, I walk in and, I take a senior's position. And I'm splitting then 50-50 with me and the starter. And then my sophomore year, I get elevated to that starting position. And then my junior year, I hold that nose guard position for the entire year, and I'm playing close to 90% of the snaps. I play our last rivalry game where I play every single play at the nose guard position. And even then, I think my junior year, I was only second team all conference with around 40 plus tackles and 4 sacks from the head up nose guard position. So that made me pretty angry, and then the COVID hit, I was really excited to have a go into that senior year and just go out with my class. But COVID hit. We had our spring season. It was just 3 games, and we dominated every single team we played. I had up at 4 sacks in 3 games and like 10 tackles, and I was listed, with the asterisks, an all-region selection that year. Come my senior year, I'm just ready. I'm just ready to have the greatest year yet. And I was head of fall camp. I was listed as the captain of the team, so it was a huge honor for me. It's something I'd always wanted to do, and something that really took some time to develop. I wasn't always a natural leader, but I really tried to develop myself into a person who can lead and who can be looked up to as a role model. And so, our first game is against Butler, and Butler University is a D1 team, and we're a D3 team, and I was so excited. I mean, they did the whole thing. We were playing on September 11th. They came out with the American flag. They came out with all that stuff. There's a massive crowd there, and DePaul University is like 40 minutes from Indianapolis, and there are tons of alumni in Indianapolis and people connected to DePaul. So you had DePaul fans there and Butler fans there. It was an insane experience. We get pretty, we have some young guys in our secondary and as linebackers, and have to switch some things around. So we end up losing about 46-26. But in that game, I felt fine. I was just thinking to myself, like, this is D1. I'm not having issues here. I'm playing with them. I'm making plays.
Yep.
That's it. We go into our next game. We're angry. We're like, we really could have made that a lot closer. If a couple calls went our way, and we absolutely smoke the team. We play the Kenyon Lords 44-0, and from then on, we dominate our conference. And then we win our conference title for the first time in history. We get to the playoffs, and in DePauw's history, there had never been a playoff win ever, and we beat Rose-Hulman, and that's the first time in DePauw's history that we win a round of the playoffs in advance. Second round, we faced the perennial dominant team, Whitewater, and a lot of guys, we get there. They've got a massive stadium for a D3 school, fitting about 20,000 people. They got all their national championship banners, and we were ready to face. It was the David Goliath, and we lost about 46-0, and we knew, we were outmatched, but we kept fighting. I mean, after that first half, we only let up a single touchdown in the second half. We just kept fighting, and our motto was DePauw never quits, or DNQ. And, I feel like I was really able to embody that because, I just said halftime, we're just down like 36-0. I'm like, guys, like, look, you can stay down here and let them hold us down, or you can keep fighting, lay some hits, let these guys know that, we're not here to give up. We're not demoralized. We're not just going to lay down and take it, and just make them remember you, lay a hit on somebody, make sure that, you leave your mark and you show on that field that we're not quitters. We're not guys who are just going to falter in bad situations, and we face adversity head on. And so, it was a bit of a tough send out to, lose there and kind of walk away from college ball. But it took me about a couple weeks to decide, like, I want to keep going. I still got gas in the tank. Sure. I want to pursue professional football to the highest level that I can. And if you ask any of my coaches, I work for it. I don't fear hard work. If you put hard work in front of me, you just tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. My greatest enemy is myself. I'm constantly asking myself, how are you going to get better? What can you do to get better on this day in this workout? What are you going to do? You're going to run a faster time. You're going to lift more weight. You're going to be more explosive with your weight, So that was kind of my college journey. I got awards. I got the Defensive Player of the Year award for my conference, which was unbelievable. Very humbling experience. I never expected I would have gotten that, just because there were a lot of guys who were racking up a lot of linebackers that racked up a lot of stats. But then I realized, hey, I was such a I affected the game so much that I was from a zero technique nose guard being the Defensive Player of the Year of the conference. I mean, it meant a lot, and again, nothing I could have done without my teammates and my coaches.
Absolutely.
I was the first team all region selection as well. So yeah, that was also very humbling and a great experience. I feel very honored because you work for it and you get it.
Yeah, I'm looking at, got your profile here. You were D3football.com all region 4 second team and first team defense,
Mm-hmm.
2020 and 2021. Um, like you said, you're all conference. You received the Hank Critchfield Defensive Player of the Year award
Mm-hmm.
for your conference. Um, you were a nominee for the Cliff Harris Award.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, you guys, like you said, North Coast Athletic Conference champions in 21. So obviously you've had a pretty decorated career thus far, in the college ranks. Um, you know, Knowing that, let's talk about this. A lot of times, guys are like, yeah, I don't want to go to a D3. I'm not ever going to get seen for the NFL. Not going to get a chance to play pro from a D3. Obviously, a handful of years ago, Ali Marpat, the only
Right.
D3 lineman invited to the NFL Combine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're getting a chance to continue your career.
Mm-hmm.
However far that journey takes you. What is your what do you say to people when they say, I'm not going to a D3? D3 won't get me seen. It won't give me the exposure I need. What's your thought process on that?
I think that's just it's not a good attitude to have. I mean, sure, you can say, look, like, I'm gonna, if I go to a D1, I'm gonna get this, that, and the other. But look, I was in the IFL with plenty of D1 dudes. We were all on the same level at that point. Guys who were in the NFL, we were all the same level at that point. If you are going into a D3 with that mentality, what I'm saying, then you're not going to go anywhere. If you think it's D1 or bust, sure, the D1 schools are going to have more resources, but if you work hard, if you do all the things you're supposed to do and ball out, you're going to get noticed regardless. I mean, look at the guy, UW Whitewater. It's been 3 years in a row where those guys have gotten NFL opportunities, and that's all D3.
Yeah.
There are plenty of guys throughout the D3 that just simply you might have to work a little bit harder than the other guy, the D1 guy that's getting the nutrition plan and the extra weight room work. But it's about your mindset. It's about being a grinder. I'm not saying you're just not working out. Well, you have to work a little bit harder, but you're going to get to where you want to go if you want it that bad. If you really want it, if you're really about it, you will get to where you want to go. And I think that they'll find the talent. They'll find you. It's not about where you are. It's about it's where you're ending up.
I talk to a lot of athletes about it. And my thing is that when you do your homework, with the NFL and CFL, especially when it comes to CFL, obviously the American import side,
Mm-hmm.
you do your homework on the numbers, the larger percentage of successful professional football players tend to be D2 and D3 guys.
Right, of course.
And a lot of that's because they have been overlooked to a certain point, and they do have that chip on their shoulder, and they do feel kind of disrespected. And so they tend to work a lot harder. They don't take things for granted, and they do whatever they have to do to survive. Where a lot of times your D1 guys, they're a little more entitled, a little more spoiled, and they don't think they have to work hard anymore, and they think it should just be given to them a lot of times. And so um, I personally don't think that people should turn their nose up at D3 or NAI or even D2,
Mm-hmm.
because there are just as many, if not more, guys that find their way into the pros
Mm,
through those lower levels than, in comparison to the D1 guys. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So I really want to get your take on that coming from a D3 and having as successful a career as you had. What would you tell younger athletes coming out of high school that may turn their nose up at a D3?
Mm.
What advice do you have for them, going into that particular situation?
I mean, really, you should never discount any opportunity. Say that you're better than every D3. And a D3 coach that's like, hey, what are you thinking? Don't just ghost the guy. Don't tell the guy, well, I'm better than that. I'm better than you guys, because there's a real coaching carousel that goes on in the D3. And there are, I mean, I've had 3 D line coaches in all 4 years that I was there, and all those guys went up to higher leagues. They went up to D2, D1. So that coach that you disrespected may be a D1 coach the next day, or I mean the next month. The turnaround is insane.
Yeah,
Recruiting you for the other school, I'm like, wow, this kid was not a good guy to me. He was very disrespectful, and we don't want him anymore. And your name is then going to be dragged through the mud because all the coaches talk through every league. So
yeah,
don't turn your nose up at opportunities. Don't just be respectful and talk to the coaches. At the very least, just talk to them. Tell them where your head's at. Don't blow them off. Don't consider it a waste of time. And don't discount those smaller schools. Don't say, "Oh, I'm better than this" or "I'm better than that," because half the time, if you really are better, then you'll go there, you'll ball out, and you'll be the best there ever was there, right?
yeah.
You'll start immediately.
And you're
That's
getting
how it
quality
always goes.
education there. You're getting just as
Yeah,
good an education there as you do at a D1 school.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
so yeah, I agree with that. Wholeheartedly.
Mm,
I sent some guys a few years back as a high school coach to Brevard College in Western North Carolina, Division 3,
right.
and those guys won a conference championship, and they've had a lot of success as football players.
Mm-hmm.
And these were kids that were not highly recruited coming out of high school, thought they weren't going to be getting a chance to play college ball,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just extremely grateful for another chance to be on the field, much less win a championship, much less have some kind of success at it. They both graduated with their degrees. And they call me or they'll text me or whatever, and they thank me and they want to talk about what they're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
they want to check on me, and I call and check on them from time to time, and they're very happy with their experience at the D3 level.
Right.
And I've continued to tell them, if you want to play professionally, that opportunity is there. It's
Mm-hmm.
still available to you. So I truly believe that more kids need to hear it from guys like you that have been there.
Right.
That the last thing you want to do is turn your nose up. And you're exactly right in what you said too. There really is a thing such as being blackballed.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually find yourself on a blackball list, like you said. You turn your nose up at a coach, and a week from now he's a D1 coach now, and you call him up and be like, hey, coach, you remember me? And he's gonna be like, no, I don't remember you. I didn't talk to you.
Exactly.
Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
So you can find yourself on that black ball list.
Right.
I tell the guys, coming out of college, you can find yourself on that list professionally too.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, you start turning your nose up at opportunities, and this guy might be coaching in Germany, but guess what? A month from now, he might be coaching in the CFL. You never know.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and now you're asking people to reach out to him, and he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, you turned me down over here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why should I talk to you now?"
Right.
So that's absolutely spot on with what you had to say, and I appreciate you being willing to give some insight and answer that, so people out there can hear.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to the success of your career, you played, looks like roughly 44 games that you played, 137 tackles over the course of your career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, looks like about, I think, was it 68, 69 total tackles solo, another 69 assisted. You had three tackle. Let's see, was it 14 sacks,
Hmm.
34 tackles for loss. I mean, you had a pretty daggone productive career, you
Right.
know, as a D lineman. You know, couple forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. I mean, you were getting after it obviously over the course of your career.
Hmm.
Um, you know, when it comes to the professional ranks, and as we've talked about, your size and things at different levels could be considered undersized.
Hmm.
What do you have to say to those coaches, scouts, general managers, player personnel directors? Given your resume, obviously a highly decorated resume, what do you say to them when they might bring that up, or that becomes an item on the evaluation list with you? What's your response to that?
I'd say, look, I understand that. I've been told that all my life, but give me my chance, give me my shot, put me out on the field, see how I play, put me up against put me up against your biggest offensive lineman, put me up against your most talented offensive line, your most talented blockers. Let me face them. Let me show you that my size doesn't matter when it comes to production. Let me show you that I can be a big impact on the field, no matter if I'm shorter than the 6'3" guy or less than the 310-pound guy. I'm still going to produce. And just give me my shot, and you won't be disappointed. And it's not about being cocky. It's just, look, I've produced against guys like hell. I've faced guys that were 6'9", pushing 390. You know, I've faced guys who were always bigger than me, even in the D3. Guys were massive, and I'd go against them. Even in the IFL, I was facing NFL quality guys. It's on the field where I've made the production. Stats and all that superficial stuff. I understand that it's a big part of the game, but give me my opportunity, and I'll perform for you. That's what I have to say.
Good answer. Good answer. Now, let's kind of back up a little bit. You talked earlier about, the work ethic and the amount of work that, guys put into this. And
Mm,
let's talk about your off-season conditioning program.
sure.
Walk me through a week with Joe. What's that like Monday to Sunday? What are you doing? What are your focuses? Are your focuses on agility and speed,
Mm.
strength and conditioning, recovery, flexibility? What is it that you're focusing on this off season? Um, Talk to me about what your weekly timeline looks like. Kind of curious through a week with Joe.
So I'm usually trained about five days a week, right? Like other 2 days of recovery. So just yesterday, I'll walk you through the workout. I work out at a performance gym with trainers. Everything's catered towards performance on the football field. I'm warming up with movement stuff. I'm doing like movement jumps, stretches, mobility work, what you call like prehab for injury prevention. Then I'm doing speed training in this session. I'm doing timed 10-yard flies. I'm trying to get those numbers up. I'm working on running mechanics. I'm working on ways to basically become a more explosive player. Then after that speed training, we get into the weight room. I'm doing, banded squats paired with an explosive jump to, get that contrast going to become, more explosive and more powerful. All of that triple extension stuff. Then I do a lot of whole body workouts, and then I'll do close grip bench for explosive reps. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to, I can push the heavy weight, but we're not working to be bodybuilders. We're working to be explosive athletes who are going to bring that performance that's going to translate onto the field. Then
Absolutely.
I'm doing supplementary stuff, back workouts, hamstring workouts, all stuff catered not for aesthetics, but for performance.
Yeah.
Then on those Tuesdays, I'm doing more of a mobility and recovery workout. You know, weighted lateral lunges where you're going for depth rather than weight. A a lot of medicine ball slams, a lot of lateral movement. Come Wednesday, we're doing chest with the Swiss bar, and we're doing explosive banded bench press with med ball tosses, and then other supplementary workouts for the upper body. Then on Thursday, we're doing banded trap bar deadlift to really again work the explosive movement. And then we're doing legs, Bulgarian split squats, all this different split squat exercises, because you're never with 2 feet in line with each other on the ground when you're playing sports. You're always moving, you're always split in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's what we work on. Come Friday, it's much more about mobility and stretching rather than moving weight. Come Saturday, we do a little overhead press. We do some game stuff, simulate like little competition days, different movement to, really just make you a better athlete, hand-eye coordination, all that. And then come Sunday, it's time to relax. It's time to chill out, prepare for Monday. Nothing. Don't do anything too strenuous on that day. Just try and get your numbers up. But that for me, that's pretty much my typical week with training. It's all about speed, all about power, all about explosiveness, and just keeping your body right, keeping your body prepared, keeping yourself mobile, so you can last longer. Because hey, at the end of the day, it's best ability is availability.
This is true.
That's what it's all about. Exactly. So you got to keep your body right. Even though you're pushing weight, keep your body right.
Talk to us a little bit about your diet. Do you have a specific diet that you adhere to, or are there certain programs that you like better than others? Are you a protein guy, a carb guy? Like what's your diet look like as far as everyday nutrition?
I really try to eat a lot of whole foods. Of course, I'll supplement myself with protein and other stuff. I really try and eat a lot of whole foods. I try to get my greens in. I try to get good carbs in. That's like rice, potatoes, any type of meat or fish, leafy greens, spinach, collard greens, Swiss chard, all that stuff. Just good stuff to help you perform, really. I mean, I try to avoid processed foods, even though it's easier. It's a quick snack.
Yeah.
I just try to avoid as a whole all that and junk food. I don't necessarily have a specific diet, but it's always I think my diet has just always been easier because I do like to eat whole foods. I do like to eat meat and vegetables and rice and potatoes and pretty much just good stuff. So I try to watch what I eat in that sense, but I am eating at a very high frequency. I'm eating about 5, maybe 6 times a day with just trying to make it good stuff because I'm constantly trying to gain good weight. Yeah. That's kind of my diet plan. I think if I'm ever trying to cut weight, maybe I'll cut out a little bit of carbs, but
Gotcha.
I just eat right, train hard.
What's your secrets? Your secret go-tos, recovery wise. What do you do for recovery?
For recovery, I just like to do a full body stretches, full body mobilities. When I have the chance, I love doing ice baths. I'll tell you what, I take cold showers every day, and then really turn it down like for 90 seconds to the point where you're gasping for air. And I think I've read stuff and I really think it makes a difference with energy levels and just kind of just supercharges you in a way. But I've always found when I'm really sore, a nice ice bath or a nice cold shower to get you a little numbed up really helps. That and I drink cherry juice every now and then, really good anti-inflammatory, get the inflammation down. I'll take a little bit of turmeric every now and then, and yeah, I think those are kind of my go-tos for recovery. Whenever I always do that in season.
Have you given cryotherapy a try yet? I know a lot of athletes are all about the cryotherapy now. So
yes, it's much easier than an ice bath. I like cryotherapy a lot. When I'm able to do it, I do it. When I was in Quad Cities, we had a place. I went there about 3 times a week, and it helps. I love cryotherapy.
Nice, very nice. Sticking with the whole off-season, program, as an athlete, especially college and pro, there's a community service aspect to the day to day life. Visiting children's hospitals,
Absolutely.
Make a Wish, Habitat for Humanity, all these
Mhm.
different things. Are you currently involved in anything, or are there certain causes that maybe down the road you're looking to get involved in, or are you one of these guys that have ideas about starting your own nonprofit to do certain things? Or talk to us a little bit about that part of your football life.
Sure. Currently, I'm not involved with anything, but in season with the IFL teams, there would usually be something like going to schools and just talking to the kids. I'm very passionate about those kind of boys and girls clubs type deal where you just kind of help kids out in disadvantaged situations because you really got to show younger children who are in a tough situation that there are a lot of different options. You just got to be a a figure of positivity towards some of these kids. I mean, I'm pretty passionate about that stuff. I'm pretty passionate about just doing some good. Just helping people out, helping people maybe down at the homeless shelter, helping people just who don't have a lot in their life. Because you gotta be appreciative of what you have in your life. I'm very lucky. I feel very appreciative about what I have, even in tough situations. And I like to try and involve myself in whatever way I can.
Talking about that, athletes are role models not only for the youth but adults. Pretty much every age group across the board. You're a role model. You're a source of inspiration for them. And talking about the community service part, how important is it to you, um, the image that you present to those that look up to you?
I think it's very important. You have to have this sort of you have to carry yourself in a certain way. People are going to be looking at you. People are going to be looking up to you. So mind your manners where you are, wherever you are, and make sure people, whenever you leave people that you might have a brief interaction with, leave them with a sense in their head that that's a good guy. That's a guy that I would trust. Hold doors open for people. That's just a nice, friendly interaction that you might have with person in passing, and it means so much. Nod your head, people, smile at people. Don't look away from people, make eye contact. But I think leaving good impressions is a huge thing because you don't want anyone thinking like, oh, that guy, that's a mean guy. That guy's he's not a good dude.
Yeah.
Just be an
So,
overall good person.
so in line with that question, I'll ask you this. As you've had a chance now to be a professional athlete and experience that, a little bit of that life, how important is it to you what the fans, the front office staff, coaches, the trainers, the doctors, um, just the community in general that you're a part of at that time, being with with one professional team or another, how important is it to you what they think of you?
I think it's massive because especially a lot of these smaller professional leagues, the fans are what's keeping it alive.
Yeah.
What they think matters. So if a fan wants to come and talk to you, you're going to go and talk to them. You're going to have a nice conversation with them. If a kid wants a ball and you can give him a ball, give him a ball. If you can sign something, you can sign something. You want those fans to have a great impression of you because they're watching you. They look up to you. The kids look up to you. So it is extremely important to me to have a good relationship with the fans because those are the people that are helping support you. Those are the people coming out and cheering for you, taking time out of their lives to go and watch you play. So, if you get a chance, talk to them, let them talk to you, and just be a friendly guy because it does matter what they think at the end of the day. They're paying tickets, they're coming in, they're watching you. So your responsibility is to be a good guy and to talk to them and make their day, do something for them.
What's been your most memorable moment collegiately and professionally as far as fan interaction? What's been the most memorable thing that you can remember?
I think it was after the Quad Cities game. I was just talking to people, and they were just we we had lost that game, but people were still coming out onto the field, getting autographs and everything like that. And just, I remember, these four little boys were just like, hey, like you really gave it your all, and it's okay. Like, we don't care that you lost. Like, can you sign the stuff? And it just really felt good because I hadn't really done anything at that point. I just played in the football game, and to think to myself that it mattered that much to them. You kind of think to yourself when you were a kid, when you were watching football and thinking like, oh, those guys are my heroes. I mean, to those kids, we're supermen,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter win or lose, they still look up to us. And I think it just kind of hit me like, this is real, this is really inspiring people, and it's really does a good thing for them, does a good thing for the community. So that was probably one of my moments where I thought to myself, hey, this is real, this is professional sports life.
Does it bother you when athletes or even coaches don't necessarily take the lifestyle seriously, or maybe they don't put forth the amount of effort that they probably should in doing their part to put a good product on the field and present a true professional image to the fans? Does that bother you at all? Does it get under your skin or anything? Or
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, you're a professional, right? You may think that all you're doing is football, right? Or all you're doing is coaching. All that outside noise is nothing that you have to deal with. You don't have to put on a professional image.
right.
See, I don't like that because being a whole professional means so much more than just playing the game or coaching the game. You've got to interact with the community. You've got to interact with people. You have to put on a nice front, like, sure, you can be the coach that's a bit of a hard O and, hard on his players. You can be the player that's like the scary guy. But at the end of the day, you're still a professional. You still have to act professionally. If a fan or a kid's reaching out his hand to high five him. Don't like look at the kid or, try and, just ignore him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to interact with the fans. You've got to interact with the community, and, everyone, it's all eyes on you. So you at the end of the day really have to make a decision on how I want to be perceived. And for me, is being a professional, I want to be perceived at the end of the day like as a good guy. I would rather be perceived as a great guy. That guy's a really great player, but man, he sucks. Man, he's mean. I would really rather be just being a guy people like and a guy people look up to.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you see coaches and even players that are just kind of there hanging out, going through the motions. They're not really working hard and really committing themselves to excelling to a level that gets them on to the next destination on the ladder, so to speak. And so I just kind of wonder, is that something like with you as an athlete, is that something that kind of gets under your skin, or do you just kind of like look the other way? Or
I mean, if I think of it like this, like, you will get far in life by smiling, looking people in the eye, and shaking their hand. So to me, when people go out of their way to not do things that are going to elevate them, what I'm saying? Just simple things like that. It does get under my skin. It's kind of mind-boggling, thinking like, why wouldn't you do it? Is it that hard to do the simple things?
Yes.
To just get ahead. And even if you hate it, if you fake it, you'll still get ahead, even if you're not that guy. Mm-hmm. So it seems it's almost, to me, it's harder to be, have a bad attitude in that sense instead of faking it. It seems harder to just get in your head and, be a guy who's unprofessional and, angry all the time. You know what I'm saying?
I personally, from somebody who grew up where, like God didn't necessarily, gift me with the physical attributes to play past high school or maybe college or whatever. And I end up doing the military route and different things. It always aggravates me when I see guys that take for granted the opportunities they have in front of them, because there are people that would give an arm and a leg to be in some of y'all's shoes to actually have a chance to play professionally, whether it's indoor arena overseas or even at the
Mhm.
higher levels. They would just give an arm and a leg just to have those chances, to even
Right.
have their name in those circles. And so
Mhm.
it always aggravates me, and even with coaches that they take for granted that they've got those opportunities, and they don't
Right.
work hard, or they don't really take it seriously, or um, they don't really commit to being the best that they can be. And so yeah, like for me personally, even in doing scouting now, that always bothers me.
Mhm.
um, and I wondered what it was like from a player standpoint, if that's something that kind of gets under your skin, or do you just kind of ignore it and stay focused, or you know I was kind of curious about that.
Mhm.
Changing gears here towards the end, let's talk about this. The final game is played, your cleats are hung up, your football career is over. What's next for Joe? What's the plan after that?
Well, I'll probably want to still be a part of the game as much as possible. I mean, if that means I'm gonna be a high school teacher and coach high school football, then that's what it's gonna be. If that means I'm gonna be part of a training facility where I can train football players in the off season, if that means I can become, God willing, a college coach at some point, or even a professional coach, that's what's going to be next for me. I think I'm going to be part of this game as long as I can, and try to try to create the next generation of football players and professional athletes, and that's where I think I'm gonna be end up when I hang up my cleats. I think I'm just gonna be a part of the game till I can't anymore.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's
Absolutely.
some of us that do everything we can to stay a part of that world, So
Right.
I can respect that. Um,
Mm.
Real quick, I'm gonna give you the floor. Minute and a
Sure.
half here. What is it, if a coach, a scout, a general manager, a player personnel director is watching this interview? What is it that you want them to know about Joe that they don't already know via this interview, your profile, your film, your college story, your bio on the college website? What is it that you want them to know that they don't already know? And what is it that you want them to know that you bring to the table specifically by giving you an opportunity to be a part of their team, their organization? What does Joe bring to the table that sets him apart from everybody else? So, kind of a two-part question there. I'm going to turn the floor over to you and let you kind of give your sales pitch.
Right. Absolutely. Well, look, for a lot of these gyms, a lot of coaches, first thing you guys are gonna look at is my size, is my metrics. But I'm gonna tell you this: you let me on that field, you let me show who I can be. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna bring three things: speed, tenacity, and violence to that defensive line. I'm gonna bring leadership role. I'm gonna bring positive energy. That I can promise you. Out of all things, I will bring positive energy. You know, I don't know if you tell from this interview, but I'm not a guy that gets down. I promise you that. You ask any of my college coaches, you ask anyone I've ever played for, I'm bringing positive energy. No matter we're down 46-0, 56-0, I'm bringing positive energy. I'm bringing a mentality of do not quit no matter what. Never quit. I really try to embody that, that saying that we had at DePaul is DePaul never quits. Never quit. I bring the positive energy. I'm just a guy who's going to work hard. I promise you, and this is, you can ask anyone I've played for. I will not be outworked. You put that competition in front of me, you say you have to work just as hard as him or anybody, I'm not going to be outworked. I will work, and I will, a lot of times I'll work till I drop if I have to. I promise you that. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of passing out in the field. I'm not afraid of passing out in the weight room. If that is what is required of me, I'm going to do it. So you GMs and to all the guys that have the decision making, just know this: I'm going to give you 110% of myself. You know, you can take the metrics, you can take what you want with that, you can take the height, the weight, throw me out, but I promise you this: if another guy gives me an opportunity, I'm going to show him what's up. I'm going to show him the player that I am, the person that I am. That's it.
Hey, that's as good a sales pitch as I've heard in a while. That was well thought out, well put together. So I definitely think that's effective. I really appreciate you taking time out. I know, we've carried this thing on now, and it's been about an hour. I have to do a little video editing here in a little while, and hopefully work out the bad piece of it. But I appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this interview, and I hope for whoever's out there watching, you've enjoyed the interview piece with Joe. We welcome your feedback. If there's things you'd like for us to talk about or ask the athlete, please let us know. For any of, like I said, coaches, scouts, general managers, player personnel directors out there who may be watching this and want to see Joe's highlight film or read about him evaluation wise or access his social media pages, contact info, whatever it is, you can do that by going to our website at hgsports with an S scouting.com and go to professional prospects. You'll see Joe's picture. You can click on his name or the picture itself, and it'll open up his profile for public viewing. The film will also be housed on our YouTube channel at Hidden Gems. That's GEMZ Sports Scouting. You can find it there. You'll find his new client announcement on all the social media avenues, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, with his links to his film there as well. And if you have an opportunity for him, please DM us, email us, call us, text us, whatever. And we look forward to hopefully opening up some doors here soon for Joe. Joe, again, thank you so much. I appreciate everything. It's been an amazing interview. Really fun getting to talk to you and getting to hear your thoughts on some of these questions. And so hopefully we'll be doing some more of these here soon and have you back on again. Maybe a contract signing or something can be done. One of these, we've done that in the past. So look forward to getting you back on here again. And like I said, appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to be interviewed by you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap again. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next live stream interview with Hidden Gem Sports Scouting. See you soon.